are speaking with Victoria and Kamira. We are introducing a topic that many people have personal experience with, which is corporal punishment. So let's begin with a simple question. Is spanking an effective form of discipline, or could it be shaping children's development in ways we don't fully understand? So for generations, corporal punishment has been used by parents across cultures as a way to correct behavior. You know, some people say, I was spanked and I turned out just fine, while others argue that physical discipline caused lasting emotional harm. But what does the research say?
Do you think early childhood discipline can affect people's emotions in their life when they develop?
I would say yes, but to the level of discipline. Like, if the parent is engaging corporal punishment very often, I think it could be detrimental or affect the child's development. If it's like once in a blue moon, I'm not sure, but yeah.
So, a recent peer-reviewed study published in Child Abuse Neglect examined the same exact question. Researcher George Curtis analyzed data from 49 low and middle income countries to understand how corporal punishment relates to early childhood development. So first, let's define a few important terms. Corporal punishment refers to the physical force that's intended to cause pain or discomfort, which includes spanking. Early childhood development refers to growth in areas such as cognitive skills, language, physical coordination, and social emotional functioning in children ages 3 to 5. The age range is especially important during early childhood. The brain is developing rapidly. Neural pathways are responsible for emotional regulation, impulse control, learning, and social interaction are forming.
Did you physically punish them, or if you see them physically punishing the kids, would you try and correct that? Why or why not?
Oh, I'm physically punishing my kids.
Oh.
Just because it worked for me, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to communicate with my kids. I'm not just gonna randomly spank them. If they did something wrong, I'm gonna let them know why I'm doing this. Only because it worked for me. Yes, I did kind of fear, but I respected my household leaders at the same time. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna whoop my kids.
So you're biased?
I'm not biased. I mean, it worked for me, and I was a bad kid, and coming from me being a bad kid, it worked, cause I didn't want to get spanked. So like, yeah, that's.
In terms of like other people, I'm not gonna correct somebody else because like that's their household and people have a different value. Am I going to spank my kids? Potentially, but as like a last resort. Cause like the spankings they got me in line, but it's like I also want my child to understand what respect is before I just spank them. Cause that is discipline and it redirects them, but they gotta understand respect for the principle and not because you want to avoid being hurt by somebody else. You should just respect somebody because respecting people is the right thing to do. So I do think I will, but that's last measure. I'll definitely try to put measures before try to talk to them or try to take something out of their life, something that they because I have to give them some type of lesson. But I think spanking is a last resort. But I don't think you should just go straight to it.
So you're saying that that's a complete break not to.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna put you into a scenario. So what if your patient's running low because they work in kids? Would you still try and do those same steps, or would you go to your last resort straight away and just beat your kids instead of trying to explain to them that right now what they're doing is wrong and you're going through stress as well?
So repeat the first half of the question.
Okay, so in a scenario, you're like going through a lot of work at the moment, you're stressed out, and you don't have the patience to sit down and talk with them about their behavior, and they did this before. Would you still try and go through those steps, or would you just go straight to BD?
I still try to go through those steps. I feel like I should separate my work life from what happens with my kids, and also like those are my children. Like I'm the one at the end of the day who has to nurture those children and make sure like they're responsible and like they are good people and good standing people on their own. So it's like I have to lead by example. I have to be the example. And just because I'm fed up with everything that's going on in my life doesn't mean that I should take it out on my children. So at the end of the day, if it's going to come to that, then I'll step away or I'll take a moment before I decide to talk to my kids. But I shouldn't do anything based off of emotion, because that's going to teach them to do the same thing.
Also, to investigate the relationship between corporal punishment and development research, analyze data from over 1,031,000 children between 36 and 59-month-old. The data came from the 69 national representative of surveys, knowing that multiple indicators, clusters and surveys, or MICS. In the studies, parents were asking whether children had experienced cruel punishment in the past month. Research and evaluations whether each child was developed on track in areas like learning abilities and literature and normal physical development and social emotional.
Do you think fear and respect are the same thing when it comes to parenting? Why or why not?
Fear and respect, definitely. It's how you communicate, it's how you deliver with your child, instead of making them feel like they should hide from you, instead of like they feel like they want to do their chore, instead of I should do it before I get beat, you know? It's a big difference.
In the field of human development, we learned that early experience shape long-term emotional patterns, attach styles, and copy mechanism. If discipline is delivered through skills pains, what message might a developed child internalize? Is it obedience? Is it fear? Or is it confusion? While parents is deeply personal, influenced by culture and tradition, research and increasing using that cruel punishment may carry measurable development risk. To be better understanding how people interpret, use, find in light of their own experience, we spoke with members at the community.
So if you ever plan to have children, would you see physical punishment as useful? Why?
No, I don't. You know, especially anecdotally, like again, through my experiences, every time I've been spanked or dealt with in a way that involved punishment, I never truly feel like I changed in any significant way. It was more so a very, very immediate change, and then I just continue to revert back to my previous way. So when I have a child, I definitely think that punishment is completely off the table, and there's a firm line that will not be crossed.
Well, if you're comfortable with asking these questions, this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts when you were being physically punished as a child? Did you resent your parents, or did you have any type of?
In the moment, certainly so. I definitely remember, saying some not nice things in my head, but it was, very, not long, no, long-standing effects. And I do believe my parents were aware of, where the firm line should be drawn, and they never teetered into the land of abuse. But I can say that in my personal experience, it certainly wasn't pleasant, and I was very aware of how unpleasant it was.
Simone Collins about corporal punishment in early childhood childhood development. Before sharing the research findings, we asked them to reflect on their own experiences. So, when you were a child, how did you feel being experienced by your parents?
Well, I was growing up in the Caribbean, so that's a whole different. And nobody loves punishment. Nobody loves to be appreciates as a child to be corrected. Of course, to be redirected is what we would call it now. However, when it is done in love, meaning you're corrected in love, you appreciate it more as an adult. But as a child, of course I didn't like it. I didn't like when my mom said, I would frown or I would pout without her seeing.
Thank you. I do see a lot of people saying the same thing. They know as they got older, they believe that the punishment they received helped mold them into who they are today and helps discipline themselves today. So on to the next question. Do you think physical discipline helps shape your behavior, or do you think it caused harm?
Alright, physical discipline. Physical discipline helps the mold. Anything done in the right order and the right way, of course it's going to shape you. But then there are others that would really make a child be scarred. But I think if you're being disciplined with love, of course, because we all need. If I can quote from the Bible says that evil is in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it out. Train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he will not depart.
So this next question is, how do you think early childhood discipline affects emotional development later in life?
It can be negatively or, positively. It can go negative or positive. In today's society, however, one has to be careful the color of discipline that we use, because how my mother would discipline me, it might not work on a child, especially in the background that the child is coming from, the living situation that child, because if a child is in an abusive situation, me coming and talking to that child will think that I'm just joining everybody. So discipline has different colors and shades. Make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. So, should corporal punishment remain a private family decision, or is it something government should regulate, and why?
I don't like the word corporal punishment because it just sounds something that is, monstrous. But disciplining and grooming, right? It is something that, of course, it must be tailored to your family structure. Because my mother did not have to hit me one look. When I see her looking, I know exactly what that means. Whatever I'm doing, stop. There are times when, she would, have to come in to do the next step. But there must be in different phases. From the look and from she would look or she clear her throat or something. But, that's what we would use in our family.
So that would be like your sign to correct yourself.
Right.